a reason to increase like significantly?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's absolutely significant enough for any acquirer to revise the MDRs.
But by the way,
irrelevant. Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I'm understanding correctly, because they say here Visa International Acquiring face-to-face and CNP, so it's 0.1. And then here they say International Acquiring CNP fee only, 0.15. So my understanding is that it will be 0.1 for face-to-face cards, and for CNP will be this one plus this one, so it will be 0.1 plus 0.15, so 0.25. That's
25 bips, yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay. So, do you now, as acquirer, do acquirers now charging UK cards differently, like as international cards? Because also you have seen for the interchange, now UK cards they consider as international cards. So the card,
absolutely, yeah.
The interchange for consumer credit CNP is 1.5%, while it used to be 0.3. So do all acquirers now charge UK cards as international cards?
Yes. I mean, this is switched some time ago, and all of the rates were amended. I know that some of the rates for Ireland, for other countries, for very specific countries, were amended as well, and all of the acquirers are either passing this on or would have amended the blended rates that they have in place.
Okay, great. Thank you. So coming back to the proportion, so you would say it's pretty much similar to what we have in 2020, no significant change, but in terms of trends, so maybe an increase of this new mix of interchange tier pricing. It's still not that common, but still it's maybe getting more popular, or?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would definitely say that there will be an increase in that, especially from a volume perspective. And again, I would also say that there will be an increase in the blended rates, especially in terms of number of merchants going down the line as new businesses embark in business and start transacting. That will surely be a trend. But also people that have been on these old clunky terminals for ages and are realizing the simplicity, the reconciliation, the back-end systems, and potentially even the funding and cash flow that they can get from other firms is very appealing.
And so did you see, so what would be the trend like moving forward? Do you think it will go towards which pricing structure?
So I think in terms of if you look at from a volume perspective, I think there will be moves that will be visible trending towards a mixture between tier and interchange plus. Mm-hmm. All of the reasons that we discussed. Yes, I think there will be also an increase in the number of merchants in terms of blended, but I don't think that you would see that really from a volume perspective anytime soon. It would be very minimal. But from a number of merchants perspective, I think that increase will be visible.
Okay, cool.
So it's pretty much moving away from the old structure, classical interchange and classical tiered, to the two extremes of either fully blended or, on the other hand, a mixture of those two components, which is a new pricing structure.
Okay, interesting. Cool, thank you very much. So now we can move on to the question regarding Gyro cards. Because to be honest, I don't know much how Gyro cards are working in Germany. I was, as I said, more focusing on credit cards. So I don't know, for example, if there is also like an interchange, a scheme fee, like a normal Visa MasterCard transaction. Does it work the same? Like, you have interchange, scheme fee, acquiring fee, processing fee. So if you could explain me how is it the different components of Gyro cards?
I will. Yeah. I will. I've actually put it all down into a file as well for the different tiers that you mentioned that you were looking for.
Yeah.
And I've also tried to calculate some premiums for the industries. I'm just starting to get a little concerned because I'm rebooting for the third time and I cannot get my my laptop to work.
Okay.
So just give me 1 second. Okay. Oh, here we go. Oh, God. Thank you. Okay. It's coming up. No, I had twice. I had to actually reboot it manually because it wasn't working.
Yeah.
And this is the third time that nothing is coming up. So now it's coming up. We should be there in a minute, but
Yeah.
I can talk while this is happening. So effectively, it's a four-party scheme like the international schemes. What you have is you've got issuing banks issuing gyro cards. All of them being local banks. The banking market in Germany is very dispersed with very small local bank associations, if you will.
Okay.
And they would issue gyro cards.
Yeah.
There are more than, I think there are 103, 104% gyro cards versus number of people living here. So on average, or maybe even more than 103, 104. So every person on average is carrying more than one gyro card on them.
Okay.
Which is quite interesting. So it's a very widely used card and payment type. It's what's very peculiar to it. Just 1 second. Is just have to open the files now that I opened. What's very peculiar about it is the fact that it cannot be used online.
Yeah.
It's purely a card that can be used in a card-present environment.
But I mean, if they're co-branded with a MasterCard debit or Visa debit or Visa debit, or then they can be used online.
No, they can't.
Even though
there's no chance.
If it's a MasterCard debit gyro card, it's not a way to still use it online.
I'll show you the problem. So this is mine, and you see the VPay logo.
VPay, yeah.
So it's co-branded with VPay.
Yeah.
Commerce Bank co-brands with Maestro, Deutsche Bank as well. So it's a card that I can use anywhere across the world. If it's not a terminal that accepts gyro card, my transaction will be processed as VPay.
Yeah.
The problem that you have is look at this card number down here.
Yeah, it's like IBAN or...
It's an IBAN.
Yeah.
And when you look at this card number, there's nothing else.
Yeah.
So you don't have the possibility to type in the co-branded card number, which makes it impossible for the card to be used.
Because it's a VPay or Maestro, like you said, but if it's a MasterCard debit, isn't it different, or is it the same?
No. If you wanted to be what they've started issuing, and that's an interesting question, is basically these cards. So this is it's a DKB issued, but it's a Visa debit card. This is a card linked to my gyro card account.
Yeah.
But this is not processed via the gyro card rails.
Never?
If I pay with this, it'll always be processed as Visa.
Oh, okay.
But it will be directly debited from my gyro account. And why I can use this offline is because you can see the card number here, which is an international card.
But what do you mean by gyro accounts? Isn't it just your issuing bank accounts? Like?
Sorry, that's a synonym in Germany. If you say, we say Girokonto. Gyro account is like your banking account. That's how ingrained the whole gyro element is.
But actually, gyro is never intervening in this process. Like gyro is out of the...
In this one, no. This is a Visa debit card that is linked to a bank account. And that's a trend that more and more banks, such as Deutsche Bank, Commerce Bank, DKB, large issuers are starting to issue international cards only to avoid that problem. Because they used to have to issue a credit or a debit card. They used to have to issue the gyro card. And at that point in time, you've got 3-4 cards on hand that have to be managed. And it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So it's a card asset that cannot be used offline. Give me 1 second. Let me just... What was it? That. just opening up the files again that I had open.